Hello, welcome back. In this video, we are going to cover my Cryo Toxic Tech build skills, class tree, the gear, pros and cons of this build, the strategy, how it works, and the playstyle. And I cannot believe this is the state of the Technomancer after multiple nerfs. Stick around. If you like it at any point in time, feel free to subscribe. I'm out here grinding. If you have a build that does not use toxic rounds and you can blow through at challenge tier 15 expeditions, I'd love to hear about it. The Technomancer has to be the highest damage dealing character in the game. The long range damage is absolutely brutal and punishing. The way I have this character set up is a glass cannon. The interesting thing about this glass cannon is he is definitely the squishiest character I've made so far. However, because the damage output is absolutely the rawest thing I could possibly imagine, it's less of a concern. No golem glitch here, and this works because you simply melt everything before it can attack you. The new meme is that instead of sitting with the golem glitch in the Broodmother Surge, you simply sit in the Surge and kill them before it can even initially damage you. It is ridiculous. For our skills, we are going to be using the Decay Turret, the Blighted Rounds, surprising nobody, and the Cryo Turrets. For our tree, we've got a couple of points spec'd into the middle tree. Very important here. You need that resistance and some of the added defense for damage reduction, and you need to spec those nodes and get some max health as well. Alternatively, you can choose to completely avoid this and go into the top tree. However, there isn't a lot of damage to be gained by the nodes that I have not selected. For our gear, I need to point out right away, my chest piece is completely wrong. Need to get rid of this, but I cannot find the boots of the Borealis Monarch. That's what I need. We are running the 3-piece set for the Borealis Monarch. This is because we want to do 90% bonus damage to targets that are frozen. If you look at our weapons, we're not running any frost. That's okay. This is because we have double cryo turrets, and ideally, which I don't have yet, once we get our boots, we are going to swap out that icicle storm for the mod, which makes decay turret deal cryo damage. This is another source of frost. That means you have 3 sources of frost. You have 90% bonus damage really frequently. It's not hard at all to hit the targets that are frozen. We want to make sure we are running gear with status power, and this is because it's going to make the frost last longer, therefore increasing our bonus damage opportunities. And because the cryo is lasting longer, we're going to be building up the enemy status resistance less frequently. Every time you apply a status, enemies are going to develop that resistance. If our freezing lasts for a prolonged period of time, that means we're adding it less frequently, and this is providing less opportunities for the enemies to develop resistance. I was fortunate enough to get a god rolled Inferno Seed from People Can't Fly. Thanks, boys. Love the stimulus guns. That gun does an insane unholy amount of damage. I can't put it away. This in combination with the newly fixed Dark Sacrifice means that this gun pumps out a disgusting amount of damage without having to require frost on the weaponry. Our backup weapon is actually fairly important here. If we mess up and we can't confirm kills with our toxic rounds, we want to make sure that we have a gun with 2 high damage dealing mods on swap, as well as no Dark Sacrifice on the secondary, because we don't want to have 2 guns where we're chipping away at our own health. 3-piece set from the Borealis Monarch, bonus damage to frost. We want double cryo turrets. We want a ton of firepower mods. There are so many options here that work if you do not have all of these tier 3s. Bloodlust is a great tier 2 mod. Either of the tier 2 mods which buff our damage against frozen or poison afflicted enemies. Very viable options here as well. We do want to run the boots and the gloves from the Borealis Monarch. We do not need any more bonus firepower on our gloves. So the max health on both of those 2 pieces of armor are very helpful. And we also want to make sure we run that damage absorber. Our character is made of paper. It's incredibly awkward without damage absorber. Any sort of one melee hit is enough to kill you. I was getting so unbelievably tilted from dying to those little Perforos in one hit. The little minion things that are supposed to like chip at you and do nothing. No, those things one-shot you because we're running 2 sides of the power class tree point, which makes us do 20% more damage, but we take 15% more. Plus our permanently decaying health from Dark Sacrifice means Perforos can in fact one-shot you. We want to keep everything at arm's range, utilize our massive long-range damage buff. I believe it's 80%. Anything at far range is going to absolutely melt. I elected to not put the points in the tree which give us minus range requirement for long-range damage. I don't like specking around this. I find that enemies are either going to be on top of me and I am panicking and holding down the trigger and spraying and praying, or they're going to be at a nice range where I'm activating my bonus and melting things safely and comfortably from a nice distance. As is custom on this channel, this build is insanely fun. And my absolute favorite part of this build, besides melting elites, broodmothers, captains, and like 2 shots, birds are now your little bitch. It feels so good to just slap those little winged things around like you own their souls after dealing with so many Pyromancer bird problems in my previous 10 builds. It feels just, unbelievably good to punish those. One of the things that is really, really fun about this build, don't even worry about target acquisition. Your brain is basically on autopilot. The goal here is to follow around whatever your cryo turrets shoot and freeze. They have the ability to freeze almost instantly with the first salvo they fire, and you have the ability to murder anything with your first burst from the Inferno Seed. So you just follow around wherever the cryo turrets shoot. Things that are frozen take 90% more damage and get deleted. As previously stated, you don't want to get hit with this build. It does not feel good at all. You are permanently losing health to your Dark Sacrifice mod, but because we have the point put into the skill which raises our health regeneration threshold to about 65%. It's very convenient. You never actually get the full debuff from Dark Sacrifice, which is 50% of your max health. And as soon as you start shooting, it goes up. And as soon as you stop shooting, it goes right back down. This character is really, really, in my opinion, broken. I have no problem completing any of the challenge tiers solo. The biggest issue will be when I make mistakes and misplays that end up with me dying because I am not shooting the gun and things have gotten up close and personal and are eating my ass. I do need to point out here that I tried really, really, really hard to make a non-toxic round build work on the Technomancer. I went full frost and I was having a lot of fun with it. I have a boner for all things freezing, but unfortunately the damage output was very subpar. I really enjoy the Icicle Storm mod on my chest, and that mod is really cool. The problem is that for some reason the developers didn't think that Cold Snap should have any tier 3 buffs for cooldown reduction, and 20-ish seconds when it's fully cooldown gear is just really unacceptable for a mod that basically only does damage if you're able to kill things that are afflicted with it. That was really disappointing to me. Struggling to grind out golds on Arch for 15 minutes, which in my opinion is the easiest expedition in the game, was unacceptable. So I switched to the toxic meta, and well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, we out.